Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever wondered what happens after we die, especially if we're not, totally prepared for that moment? Well, today we're diving into this really remarkable teaching from the Buddha that pretty much acts as a spiritual safety net, a promise for a good outcome, no matter what.
It's a question that gets to all of us, right? What happens at the end? It can be a pretty scary thought. But what if there was a way to actually guarantee a positive next step? A method so solid that it works even if your mind is clouded or confused in that final moment. That is the incredible promise we are exploring today.
So, what exactly is this incredible promise? This wasn't offered as just some vague hope or something you just have to have faith in. Nope. This was laid out as a direct guarantee, a specific result that follows from a specific set of actions.
Okay, so here it is. The teaching promises a guaranteed rebirth in a heavenly realm as what's called a divine being or a deity. Now just think about what that really means for a second. It's a safety net for that final, absolutely critical moment. It's designed to catch you even if your mind isn't perfectly clear when you pass on.
A guarantee like that, well, it obviously brings up the next big question. How do you get it? What are the exact steps you need to take to activate this spiritual insurance policy? So let's get into the practice itself. The path is really a form of deep mental training, and it's broken down into 4 pretty clear steps. First, you listen to the teachings, a lot, over and over. Second, you get so familiar with them that you could recite them easily. They're just easy to say. Third, you fix them in your mind, so they're really embedded in there. And finally, you penetrate them with a real deep understanding. You go way beyond just memorizing words to this profound, unshakable insight.
And to really get what it means to fix the teachings in mind, the analogy used is just perfect. It's like knowing your multiplication tables, right? You don't have to consciously think, okay, what's 7 times 8? The answer, 56, is just there. It pops up instantly without effort. That's the level of deep, deep internalization we're talking about here.
But here's where this whole thing gets even more incredible. See, arriving in a heavenly realm, that's not the final destination. It's the launch pad. The real guarantee isn't just for a comfy afterlife. It's for a rebirth that creates the absolute perfect conditions to achieve the ultimate goal, full enlightenment, which in this tradition means the permanent end of all suffering.
So once you're in that divine realm, how does it actually happen? The Buddha explained that there are 4 distinct opportunities that can pop up, 4 different pathways that all lead to that final goal. Let's walk through them one by one.
So the first path is almost effortless. You find yourself surrounded by so much happiness and peace that the teachings you worked so hard to embed in your mind can just spontaneously surface. They just bubble up. The positive environment itself can be the trigger for that final breakthrough.
Okay, the second opportunity has this really powerful analogy. Imagine an enlightened teacher comes to visit this divine realm and starts to speak. Now, for the other beings there, the words might be totally new. But for you, it's like hearing a familiar drumbeat from far away. You instantly recognize the sound because it's already a part of you. And that immediate recognition, that's what sparks your enlightenment.
All right, so what if those first 2 things don't happen? Well, there's a third way. You might just be minding your own business, and you overhear some other divine beings talking about the teachings. And because of all the groundwork you did, just listening in on their chat can be the spark that ignites your own awakening.
And this 4th path, it might be the most beautiful of all. A friend, another being who got to that realm before you, might come and find you. The analogy here is like 2 old friends just reminiscing, and all it takes is that simple reminder, hey, remember this? Remember this path we walked together? To reawaken everything you learned and bring you all the way to full enlightenment.
Okay, so we've looked at the promise, the practice, and the 4 possible pathways. But what's the big picture here? Let's pull all these threads together and get really clear on the ultimate purpose of this whole journey.
And this right here is probably the most crucial distinction to make. The rebirth as a deity, that's the temporary reward. It's a wonderful, blissful, but ultimately finite existence. The real purpose, the ultimate goal, is to use that perfect environment as a springboard to attain full enlightenment, the permanent end of suffering forever.
So, let's just sum up the key takeaways. This teaching is a spiritual safety net with a guaranteed positive outcome. You secure it with a specific 4-step mental training. And the most important thing to remember is that the heavenly rebirth isn't the final prize, it's the golden opportunity, the perfect setup to achieve the real goal, complete and lasting enlightenment.
And that leaves us with one final, pretty powerful thought. This ancient teaching gives us a framework for what we choose to put in our minds, what we decide to make as familiar as a multiplication table. It shows us a path. So the only question left, really, is a personal one. What will you choose to fill your mind with?